Welcome to part 2 of Playmates 1990s Dick Tracy toy line based off of the movie. And like we saw last time, there's just so many figures in this line, so this is probably going to be broken up into 3 videos. But I thought we'd plow through some of the bad guys today. And the bad guys are a lot of fun because the Dick Tracy bad guys are just grotesque monsters. Just... look at that face. I thought I'd start off with the Tramp since he's kind of interesting. This figure was recalled because of his bio card. He talks about how he believes kids without families are meant to be slaves. Here it calls him an ignorant bum with cauliflower ears, dirty and scarred from a life on the streets. You'll smell him before you see him. So it's pretty not flattering, but that was enough to get this figure pulled. Not that it's increased his value at all. I mean, there's a ton of these on. He's one of the cheapest figures in the line, I think. Very easy to find for pretty cheap. This one is funny though, since his card has been glued on kind of crooked, which is kind of funny. The Tramp is stinking up the city sewers. Now, there are so many of these guys that I'll go through them in a pretty good clip. The Tramp comes with a knife, a garbage can lid that I guess he's using as a shield, and what it listed as a spiked plank, which is just a piece of wood with some nails sticking out of it. He doesn't hold this one terribly well, so I just armed him with his kind of Bowie knife and shield here. He's got all sorts of bum details like the toe sticking out of the foot, lots of tears and rags holding all his clothes together, and of course the faces on these guys are just horrible, just disgusting. But lots of different color app. As with all these guys, lots of bright colors. A lot of them have kind of duplicative accessories, so he is kind of unique in that regard. And next up we've got Lips Manless. It's amazing that they have all these kind of slang terms for just killing people all over these cards. Like he just iced a bookie. Steve the Tramp had in things that he had killed people too on the back. Man, look at that face. That mouth. Little lips here is in a cummerbund and kind of a tuxedo undershirt. Comes with the same 45 we've seen that like Dick Tracy had, and the same shoulder holster. Again, just this great monstrous face on these guys. And he comes with a unique thing that's accurate to the movie, is he comes with a pair of cement overshoes, although they do encase him totally in concrete in the movie. But you know, you can still simulate the part where he's murdered. So the way these work is that there's a seam in the middle, and they're made of soft rubber, and they just kind of pop apart, and you put them over his feet and throw him in the river and pretend he drowns horribly. Okay, next up is the Brow. For some reason this is a multilingual card, so this must have been from a general North American release. So it has a slightly different card back with a much larger part here. Too bad the comic's only in one language. So the Brow is in a kind of purple suit, I guess. Got some playing cards stuffed in his vest pocket. Saddle shoes, kind of paint job here. He comes with a knife, and he also comes with an automatic that I thought they were kind of all the same, but his is a slightly different mold. It looks more like kind of a Browning high power than the Colt 1911 that the other guys have. So that's cool that there's at least 3 pistols, and his holster is extremely short, so I'm assuming this is more like an ankle holster. We'll see how that goes on. Yeah, but it's just long enough to go around his huge leg. Once again, man, the faces on these guys, it's just so great. Looks like he's just got hot dogs strapped across his forehead. It's just so gross. But he's got the same thing going on as Sam Ketchum. Looks like he's got 2 bullet holes in his hat and a nick out of one corner. But looks like it's largely the same, exact same placement as in Sam Ketchum too. Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of recycling in the parts of these guys, but the super bright paint schemes and everybody's looking kind of distinct, really. It still sells it for me. I think these guys are so fun. The thing I just realized about the international card is that there's no clip and save case file bio on the dude. That kind of stinks. Would have liked to see what they classified that gun as. Anyway, next up we got Shoulders, who's apparently beating up an entire construction crew. And he has very wide set shoulders, as you can see. A little less gruesome than the other guys, but still has to have some kind of physical deformity. So it looks like this guy is supposed to be kind of an enforcer. He uses his own brute strength and body to slam and crush victims. Yeah, he's a former crooked wrestler. And he includes a spiked bat and a Tommy gun. So Shoulders has some unique stuff going on that we haven't seen yet. He does have a full suit jacket on, and they did this weird thing where they tried to mold the kind of lower part of his jacket around the wide set legs, and at first I thought he was supposed to have like baggy pockets or something, because it just looks really odd. That didn't really work so well, but I dig his kind of purple accents that they've repeated in his hat band, his shirt, and on his shoes here. And it looks like he's supposed to have kind of some brass knuckles tucked in his shirt. So he's got some unique accessories we haven't seen, so we'd look at those individually. He's the first character that comes with a Thompson submachine gun, which has no paint on it at all. The other guns at least have the grips painted, but this is just a solid black plastic. He has a spiked baseball bat, and instead of a holster he comes with a bandolier with enormous bullets in it. So there's Shoulders with all his gear for busting heads. Bandolier I think is a little conspicuous over the suit, but I guess they wanted to give all of the characters some kind of strapped accessory, although Steve the Tramp didn't have one, so who knows. I do think the Tommy gun looks too small compared to the kind of exaggerated size of the handguns. It's just not big enough, I think, to really come across as a machine gun. I loved all the different colors of these guys. And here's the Rodent squealing about a jailbreak. He's got this kind of creepy open mouth that I could really do without. And he comes with a lead pipe and a Tommy gun. So here's the Rodent. He's got a large nose, which I guess makes him kind of rat-like, but that mouth is so disgusting I just don't really want to talk about his face anymore. He does have some unique molding. He's got a mouse trap shoved in his double-breasted suit for some reason. They didn't try to give him a long coat, so it doesn't have that kind of weird thing that Shoulders has. He has a bowler hat instead of a fedora like the others. Modeled his shoes as more loafers than the other guys with the kind of wingtips or saddle shoes that most dudes are wearing. And he's got his unique accessory so far is this lead pipe. I believe he's also one of the characters that gets just killed in the very beginning of the movie. Okay, we'll do two more. Next we've got the Influence. He too has just an absolutely horrific face. He has that different gun, and he actually has a weapons list, so he's got a crowbar. They're calling it a Colt 32 caliber, so I was wrong about that. I actually don't recall the Influence in the movie. I haven't watched it in a little while, and I just kind of watched it in parts the last time, so I probably just missed it. So the Influence's unique accessory is a crowbar. I will say that Playmates secured all their accessories into the blisters with Scotch tape, and it has caused yellowing, and just a lot of the adhesive has come off on these really kind of soft rubber accessories, which is really a shame. So some of these are coming out pretty sticky and gross. I did put his gun in his little ankle holster there, inconspicuous, you won't notice that. For some reason he's got a spider on his shirt. I don't know why, if that's a character thing or what. Looks like a watch band, a stethoscope, and a syringe, I believe, tucked into his lapel. I don't know if he's supposed to be like a doctor or what. I should have read more of the card. He's also got a big tear on his pant leg. I don't know. I think they kind of went overboard with the styling on him, and honestly I think of all of them he's the one whose name I'm going to forget, because it's not quite as tied directly to his physical features. And lastly we've got Prune Face. I saved him for last because his face. So Prune Face appears to be the kind of demolitions guy. He comes with a Tommy gun and dynamite. Prune Face here has all kinds of crap going on his chest. He's got these raised pieces of dynamite here, which is making it really hard to get his bandolier around him, and I don't want him to wear it as a belt, so maybe I'll try to cross it in the opposite direction. He's got some other unidentified bits here. I'm not quite sure what that's supposed to be. But he's already wearing a belt around him, and then he's got bandolier things, so he's a little disheveled and pruny. They continued the pruning down on his chest, which is really gross, but his hands are not. It's kind of disappointing. His Tommy gun is also, I don't know what is going on here, but it's a unique mold. It's different than Shoulders and the Rodent's Tommy gun. It's got like a second barrel, and this thing, and the whole casing is kind of modified, so I don't know if it's what that's supposed to be. And he also comes with, we call it dynamite, but it's really just a plunger for a detonator. So I had to do the bandolier as a belt. After all, it's just this extra molding, and I think vinyl may have shrunk a bit. I just cannot get it around him like the other guys with the crossbody. But I do really like that these guys can all hold all of their stuff except for stupid Steve the Tramp and his plank. Whew. That was a lot of figures, and my fingers are all sticky now from all this sweating plastic. Man, if you can believe it, there is still 4 more bad guys to go through and a vehicle. So this is a pretty robust line, and as you can see, the colors and the unique sculpting does add a lot to them. They, as similar as they all are, I think that is a benefit to, I don't know, it just makes them all hang together really well, while the really horrible faces really make them pop out. Like, let's see if I can do this. We looked at the Rodent, Prune Face, Shoulders, Influence, Brow, Lips Manless, and Steve the Tramp. Alright, I did it. Let's see, we'll do top 3. My top 3 favorites so far, because Sam Ketchum's kind of goofy, and Dick Tracy, you know, he's great because he's the hero. Of the villain guys, I think I gotta go with the Brow, Prune Face, and Shoulders. Yeah, I just say those are my 3 favorites so far. The Influence, I think, he just seems kind of like he was added in, making a round number. I don't know. Not a big fan of him. In the next video, we'll look at the last 4 figures of Dick Tracy and the last vehicle, which is Big Boy's getaway car. If it's anything like that other car, it's going to be fantastic. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.